Parashat Va'era. Fantastic parasha. Fantastic. Today we're going to do the parasha a little bit lefi asod. לכבודכם דת לבבי over here. Eitan is going to Israel, so נעשה את זה לפי קבלה for him. Say hello to all the חבר'ה over there. Before we start, I have to remind you of our email. If you have any questions, it is at rabbigaon@gmail.com, and our Yeshiva website. Even though we still have the picture of the Shabbaton over there, cutting, slicing the corned beef or the second cut brisket, but the Yeshiva website is at yeshiva.etzion.com. If you want to help us donate, there is a place to donate. If there's questions, you can ask questions. Feel free, and please only positive things. We are a very positive person. Anyway, so let's go learn the parasha. This parasha is a fantastic parasha. Why is it fantastic? Because certain parts of the parasha, you know what we're talking about, of course, right? Dam, tzfardea, kinim, all, That parasha could be learned not only as, like we always look at it. We always look at the parasha, what do we say? The blood, the this, Shem Hashem, and it is really a whole internal and spiritual lesson that this parasha holds for us. There is this segment of the parasha that which we're going to talk about is all about avodah ruchanit, internal and spiritual work that we have to do for ourselves. Chazal tells us the following: Ayin roa, an eye sees, velev chomed, and the heart desires, v'kli ha'me'aseh gomrim, and then the rest of the limbs do what they need to do. Ayin roa, the eye sees. First of all, you see something. Then your heart says, me canta, me gusta, I like it. And then you reach with your hands or with your legs and so on and so forth. It's very interesting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself to Moshe Rabbeinu, who says, Ani Kel Shaddai, and that's how I will reveal myself to your ancestors, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and so on. Very interesting that he refers Dafka with this name, because if you look at it, he said, one second. The Avot, Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they did not have miracles happening to them. We always look at the Avot, we say, Shem Hashem, Havaya is higher, and so on. But they never had any miracles happen to them. They didn't have the Dead Sea split, or they didn't have Arbe, Kenim, Dam, blood, frogs, Why? Because El Shaddai. Dai lo labriot. I'm the God which everybody sees, that everything I give you to everything, everybody, the miracle is what we have, that you will be able to eat, that you're able to drink. That's it. That's the existence of God is not dependent on miracles. Miracles, Chazal tells us, miracles is for those who have very little emunah. If you are a person who is looking for miracles to happen, you are looking to your emunah, into your belief. Something is missing there. So, have this in mind. So Chazal tells us the ayin sees, and why I'm saying that, because the ayin sees, usually, if you see that whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you is enough, Baruch Hashem, Udu Hashem kitov kilo olav chazno. Right? Atov v'amitiv. Thank you Hashem so much for giving us what you gave us. I don't need more. Okay. Right? So the eye sees, the heart desires, and then the rest of the limbs of the body finish the job. They do whatever they need to do. Says the Netivot Shalom, Netivis Shalom. Says the Netivot Shalom. These are the three different sectors in which are all involved in falling down when you start sinning, when you start doing averot. Remember what we talked yesterday about being bombarded with things. And look at the world today in terms of advertisements, commercial. First of all, is to create the desire in you, whatever that would be. Ayin roa, the eye sees. This is the first stage. These are the stages, the sectors that you enter. Sector number 1, eye desires. You arouse that desire. Sector number 2, the heart wants it. Sector number 3, Sefini. Finished. These are the three compartments of Avera. You could basically know exactly what's going to be next based on whatever it is that you see. Oh, I'm looking at this. Ay, ay, ay. You see now how much Chazal, Chachamim told us, be careful what you look. Not only looking at, women or looking at this. Look at it, what you have. What business do I have what you have? Do I care what you have? Doesn't what you have. Who gave it to you? El Shaddai. Die. Speak. I have enough. Baruch Hashem. I have enough. Listen, we always like to pick on Esav. Esav was better than all of us. Esav says, no, listen, my brother, listen, bro, I got enough. I don't need more. I'm okay. I got my pickup truck. I'm fine. I don't need anything from you. You drive your Hyundai Odyssey. I'll drive my Raptor. It's okay. I got enough. You want to switch, Esav? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you could tell exactly what stage you're at and what's good, the next stage you're going to fall in. Because you're first of all looking. Chazal told us, Ayin roa, lev chomed, bal tachmod, is keneged alev, is against the heart. The last of the 10 commandments. I'll go to the first one. If you recognize, Ani Hashem Elokecha, I am God, you're never going to come to Lem Chored. So you understand that when the heart desires, you forgot that you saw God on Sinai. You forgot. And you allow your heart to desire. Then you're going to go to the Egel, to the golden calf. That's the way it works, guys. I told you wanted Kabbalah. Chavod. So that's what the Netivot Shalom says. And then he says, there are 3 different types of makot. The plagues in which came on Mitzrayim were 3 different types. So the Limud tells us, and so also by learning like this, about the way that a person can not only fall, to also purify yourself, purify your heart, clean your act, and be on the road to ultimate salvation. The Geulah, the salvation, is where you're free from those desires. You think free is just like, I can do what I want. I told you this. When you want to do what you want, there's no bigger slave. When you always want to do what you want, there's no bigger slave than that. Because you're always a slave to your desires. There's never going to be an end to it. So it says, if I know what it is and I know at what stage I am, I can also fix the tikkun in which I need to be in. If I'm a person who likes to look, no, tell me, ooh, nice pants. Where'd you get them? How much did it cost you? And so on and so forth. Always like, oh, is that, I know exactly what I need to fix. And if I'm a person who doesn't think, who just runs to do averot chas v'shalom, I know what to fix. You can't, thank you. You can't fix something if you don't know what's wrong. So I know where am I. Thank you so much. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol nהיה b'doro. Amen. So therefore the Makot Mitzrayim were divided into three parts. How many Makot were in Mitzrayim? How many? 10. Last time I counted was 10. So the 3 groups will be the 3, take 9, divide into 3, and then we see what we do with the last one. So again, when you're able to fix those things, you're able to come to your own personal salvation, and then the job is done. You're free. You are out of Mitzrayim. Now, the Makot started from the lower section. Why? Because first of all, you need to overcome your limbs. Those limbs in which the lower limbs, right? And that is the desire section, right? Section of desires. And that's why it says, because before we got the makadam, before we got the blood plague, that's what it says. Bezot teda, with this, I should know that I am God, with those things. Because a person needs to, first of all, understand. Before you come in to do tshuva, become to do this, you need to understand, sheyesh din, veyesh dayan. There is judgment, and yes, there is a judge. If you think about this, I cannot, I don't know about you, but I cannot stop thinking about Rabbi Akavia ben Mahalael, right? דע מאין באת, ולאן אתה הולך, ולפני מי אתה עתיד לתת דין וחשבון. 3 section. It's all within this matter. It all connected. What he said, if you apply it, and you take it in my code, so that's what it is. So, we need to understand that there's a din dayan, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows everything that you do. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows everything that you think. He knows why you're doing so, right? And just by this, in order to start getting your desires under control, you must have this understanding. That there is din and there is a dayan, there is a judge and there's judgment. If you don't understand that, you can't do it. You can restrain yourself. You can fix yourself. So you need to understand that. And after that, after you did so, you could deal with all your wills and desires in his heart. That's why it says on the second segment of the Makot, it says, Leman teda ki ani Hashem bekerev haaretz. First of all, you should know, Bazot teda ki ani Hashem. Then it says, Bazot teda ki ani Hashem bekerev haaretz. Haaretz, or eretz, that means to ratzon. Ani rotze. I want. Refers to the eretz. That's what it is. In order, so therefore, you'll be able to overcome whatever is inside of you, your will, and you're able to bend it and direct it towards your ratzon, towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, instead of doing what I want, I'm interested in doing what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Even if HaKadosh Baruch Hu, wants me to do something, and I know it's very inconvenient with me, I'm very busy with my things, I have a whole day ahead of me, I need to get up in the morning, I need to deal with people I don't want to deal with, I got to do all the pleasant things, that I don't want to do, but you got to do it, mister. That's the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not convenient for me, it doesn't sit with my schedule. Oh, really? Who said that you had a right to say anything? You doing what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to do? Do you care about his people? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you brains, gave you abilities. What did he give it to you for? For you to self-promote yourself and your own useless and meaningless agendas? For what? Why do you have all this koach and the power? Everybody has a different power. Everybody has different advantages. You have something that I don't have. I have something he doesn't have. He has something that he doesn't have. And we all need it for that. And we all need it for that to do something l'chvod ha'briya, l'chvod ha'boreh, for creation, for creator. And I'm not thinking about myself. That's the tikkun. When I realize that there is something superior than my needs, that I need to grow up from the selfish age of babying. I'm a baby. Being an egoist, an egocentric, is needed for a baby's survival. Are you a baby? You're not a baby. So the older you get, the less selfish you should become. Because you understand, because you get older, you understand that you are going ahead with this. You are trapped within time. There's no escape from it. You know where you're going. You know where we're all going. You know where we're all going. So you should have this understanding. And now the sooner, the better. Because you have more time to do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. Your job is never going to be done. But at least get something going. Leave some legacy behind you. Not architectural statues. Leave legacy that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would say, Ma'aseh yadai litpaer. This is my creation. Look at this, my boy. I'm so proud of my boy. He gets up every morning. He wants to talk to me. He wants to talk to me. He wants to, I want to hear him. He gets up in the morning, he doesn't think about himself, he wants to roll over. He rushes first thing in the morning, doing Netilat Yadayim, sanctify himself so he can talk to me. How wonderful that is, huh? You guys don't know that. But wait till you have a boy or a baby. Imagine you have a baby And then you come to your baby first thing in the morning, and the baby doesn't want to be with you. It's just going to push you. Going to cry. And then it brings you, the babysitter comes, and you hand it over to the babysitter. And he's like, oh, hagu, amumu, abubu. And you say, what's my boy? What happened here? How would you feel? Your whole day will be down. What do you think HaKadosh Baruch Hu feels? He didn't ask you to pray 5 times a day. 3 times a day. First thing in the morning. Get up in the morning. You have a minyan at 8 o'clock. Have a minyan at 8 o'clock. Be here at 5 to 8. You're getting ready, aren't you? Nobody says you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You want to, Gesundheit, go ahead and do it. But it's my will. So I'm not doing what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. You should know, when you get into this trend, well, the next stage is going to come right after that. And then you're not going to be able to stop the fall. Who said you're ever going to reach the bottom? Who said you're going to reach it in one piece on the bottom? Remember when we take the korban and we throw it la'azazel, it never reached the bottom. It was like falling into pieces, like halfway down the mountain. You don't jump with a parachute. And all of us, and I can tell you this for a fact, each and every one of us, at least once in your life, if not more, will be asked to take this leap of faith, to jump into the pit without a parachute, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to pick you, to show. And I'm telling you that. You're all going to be asked. Nothing to be afraid if you trust HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If not, you're going to fall. So you don't believe in me, right? Okay. You're on your own, boy. See what you got. It's very simple. Are you ready for it? So that's what we need to realize. That's the ta'avot. למען תדע בקרב הארץ, ארץ זה רצון. You need to overcome whatever is inside of you, your will to HaKadosh Baruch Hu will. And at the end, you're going to fix the upper compartment. You have to go by order. As much as you don't build a house from the roof down, you start from the foundation up, right? Against gravity. Should be we take the house and we build it down, right? We build it up. So you can't fix the upper part until you start fixing the lower parts. In other words, remember, what we talked about. We talked about the nefesh, the ruach, and the neshama, the soul, the behemic soul that gets us going, the reactor, the raw energy that makes us want things. And then the ruach, the intellect, and then the neshama, the spirituality. You can't start spirituality if you're still acting like a beast. You can't. You have to fix it by order. Remember we talked about it when we talked about Shabbat, and so on and so forth. And then you're going to be, with the top one is the ability to think. You will be able to think pure thoughts. And for that, which is the last group, the Pasuk is telling us, Ba'avu teda, in order for you to know, ki what? Ki en kamoni b'chol haaretz. There's nobody like me. Don't even think about it. There's nobody like me b'chol haaretz. You see how it refers to the Pasukim refer different. In other words, each and every one of us should know b'machshava shlema, with a complete thought, with a complete emunah, ki ein od milvado melech al kol haaretz. He is the one. He will be the one. He was the one. Nobody, only God. You need to understand and to know that. And then all the questions that you might have, the philosophical questions that you're going to have about this are going to be gone. How old is the universe, Rabbi? I don't really care. I know God made it. That's it. I don't care. This is nonsense for me. Believe me, I love to know things. It's not an issue. I was never intrigued, but how old is the universe? I could really care less. All I know is, and I know באמונה שלמה, הריני מאמין באמונה שלמה, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bara et haolam, created the world in 6 days, and that's it. מה אכפת לי the rest of it? I need to bother with this. But when you do so, when you're finally able to direct your thoughts to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then you're going to go from Galut to Geulah. Remember, we said Galut, Geulah. The difference is the Aleph over there, of Hashem. Because the Torah is eternal. You have to learn Torah, it's eternal. And the whole entire, any story that the Torah tells you, you can find emet in the Torah. And that emet, that truth, is going to revive your soul. Nothing else would revive your soul besides the truth. That's why the Torah tells us, midvar sheker tirchak. Lies will destroy you. Emet, the truth, would revive you. Stay away from liars. Stay away from lawyers. No, lawyers not. Stay away from liars. Stay away from lies. Stick to the truth. There's nothing more the truth than the Torah and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if a person wants to, if you want to, I mean, some, you can have miracles like the 10 plagues, and you could say to me, that wasn't 10 plagues, it wasn't God. That was, a volcano off the coast of Sardinia. And there was a plankton that went down the Nile River, and it turned red. No, there was blood. It wasn't red. There was blood. There was no water. And the frog, Moshe Rabbeinu, give me a break. In other words, I can bring you God Himself to you. Say, hey, Shalom Aleichem. My name is Kadosh Baruch Hu. How you do? They said to him, no, I don't believe it. Show me a proof from Vada Albanim, somebody that you're allowed. If you want to believe, you believe. And if you don't want to believe, it's going to be in front of you. You're going to say it's not there. Like there's no Islamic terror, right? There's no radical Islam. They're all peaceful, loving, hunky-dory kind of a kumbaya group of people. No, what can I tell you? You want to believe it's Gesundheit, Bari. I don't think you're going to be healthy, but you know what I'm saying. So, people could see in the Makot, in the plagues that he brought, the complete ruling of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the word itself. For example, if you look at Makat Dam and blood, you could see that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, if God wants, He can change the nature of matter, water, into blood. The Christians tried to make a whole new thing on that. He turned water into wine. But, that's a take on that. You see where it's coming from? Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the ruler of the universe. He created it. Therefore, He can take, for Him, it's not a problem to take water and turn it into blood. Period. Not period blood, but, blood, period. Full stop. It wasn't red water. It was blood with red cells and white cells and all kind of platelets and everything inside. That was blood. And Chazal Chachamim tells us why? Because Hadam is what? What did you say, Rabbi? A nefesh. That's it. It's a deep mekubal. Hadam hu a nefesh. Remember, we start from the bottom. Hadam hu a nefesh. Paro thought he could do everything. He can control the neshamot, the nefashot of Am Yisrael. I'm going to control you, right? And Makat Dam refers to Malchut, right? Now you see how we're going up. Makat Dam is Malchut, which is the first plague, and Malchut is the Makom Shlita, the place where the nefashot are sholet ba'olam hazeh, right? In this world. In this Makkah, in this plague, Paro saw that he's not the ruler, right? And even in water, there is a certain nefesh. He thought he was the king, the ruler of the Nile. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed him, you see, you're not even that. After that, when Paro asked for Moshe, right, after the dam comes what? Tzfardea, frogs, right? From his people, Moshe answered him, Hitpaer alai. You know what? You want me to remove the frogs? Fine, not a problem. Not a problem, darling. Whatever you want. But I'll tell you what. I'm not going to tell you when they're going to go, because then you're going to tell me, you knew some kind of a hocus pocus, you have some kind of a nature phenomenon. No. That's not going to happen. You want the frogs to go? Yes, darling. You're going to tell me, and I'm going to speak to God, and He's going to remove it based on what you said. Now, all those scientists and heretics that talk about, what did it say? That pasuk does not exist in their Bible. So he told them that, right? And by doing so, he showed Paro that HaKadosh Baruch Hu not only controls matters, he controls nature and the whole entire world, whatever is in him. After that, what comes? I gotta hurry up. After dance from there, kinim. What's kinim? Mud bags, right? Lice. They had lice. In lice, HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed them that he even controls the smallest of all creatures. The smallest one, right? That according to the pharaohs were very big into black magic. The Egyptian priests, they were very big in black magic. However, lice were too small for them to be controlled by doing black magic. It was too small. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Yofi, your chevre cannot control that, right? And I'm going to show you what I can do. I'm going to control that. So he showed them, well, you guys think you know. You don't know nothing. I'm the boss here. So that plague was even was very impressive even to the priests. They said, wow, he's a yofi, maze, he's a yofi. Etzba Elokimi, it's the finger of God. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, the finger, I'm going to give you the whole entire hand. Ki b'yad chazaka hotzi et amo miMitzrayim. You want the finger, you know what you're going to get. All the way, yeah. That's exactly it. Etzba Elokim. They couldn't say it, it's God. It's the hand of God. It's the finger of God. It's the finger. They admit, pay attention to what they're doing. They admit, but they're downplaying it. They're downplaying it. It sounds just like people you talk to today. Yeah, there is a God, but downplaying it. Then we have Makat Arov. What's Arov? All kind of wilde chayas, right? Tigers and the jaguars and whatever they had there, all wild beasts. And in that, he says that he showed Paro, he showed him that not only he is the one in control of all the beasts, they do what he wants. Not only I created it, they do what I want. And not only that they do what I want, by them doing what I tell them to do, they become my messengers. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many messengers. As many animals and creatures that are out there in the world, so are messengers of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do what he wants. We all know the story about Titus, where he got a little mosquito up his head, right? That was also a messenger of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You call it Zika, I call it the messenger. You call it Ebola, I call it, messenger. It could be a virus. And it could be a cougar. An animal cougar, right? These are all messengers of God. These are all messengers of God. So, so you might say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu only controls up in heavens. No, control also this earth. Bashamayim u'va'aretz. Melech al kol haaretz. On the whole entire thing. Now pay attention. Next time you say those verses in Tefillah, now you know what they mean. Melech al kol haaretz mikadesh Yisrael ve'azmanim. You know what a compliment is that when we make Kiddush? We know what a badge of honor it is when we say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Melech al kol haaretz, King of the universe. And with his kingship, he sanctifies us and our holidays. It's a badge of honor. Guys, you gotta be proud to be Jews. You don't know what you're missing if you're not. You should wear it as a badge of honor. Don't be apologetic. No apologies here. No apologies. Nothing to apologize that you're a Jew. And if somebody tells you something, you know what to do. And if not, bring him to me, I'll show him. Anyway, so it says, after that, right, what we had? Arov, we had Dever, And then we had Dever, we had Barad and all these things. Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu took the animals and then he killed them. Dever. See, they do what I want, I can kill them, whatever I want, you are not going to ask. Then we had Barad. Also in Barad we saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants even complete opposites, because when Chazal tells us that when the Barad, when the hail came down, there was hail and the inside of it there was fire. I mean, they weren't doing LSD, that was hail with fire inside. So you're going to tell me there was some kryptonite inside, there was gas and there was fire? Come on, I mean, how pathetic could you be? You don't understand. By us making all these excuses and trying to find, we sound so stupid. I mean, what's the big deal? Just admit that there is a God. And then for you confine yourself to Him. But the whole reason why you want to find excuses of how this happened or how that happened is not because you're really interested how it happens. Because all you want to do is to try to prove that there's no God. Where you can stand on your head between now until you die. There is a God. There's nothing you can do with it. And if you don't believe it, when you die, you'll say, Hello, Shalom Aleichem. What an embarrassment. So that's what it is. And that combination of fire and water that came from heavens, it's the combination of chesed and din. Fire is din, water is chesed. Together, as it says, Oseh shalom bimromav, right? Yaseh shalom aleinu. Right? Shalom, the opposites. There's harmony in Shamayim. And if you want those opposites work together in perfect harmony, to do exactly what Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. He takes, and it says, he takes, the Midrash tells us, he takes Malachim, and the Malachim, those angels of fire and ice. And everything is by the conduct of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way he conducts it, whichever way. So therefore, any plague, there was another explanation, another clarity of how HaKadosh Baruch Hu interacts with the world, and how the world responds immaculately to the words of God. Only us, there's a problem. So after the seventh plague, which is Makat Barad, all of a sudden, you might say, oh, nu paro, you chazer b'tshuva, you want to put tefillin? Right? So, all of a sudden, Paro says, he calls Moshe and Aaron and says to him, Chatati apam. Chatati, I'm sorry, mikulpa, I'm wrong. Hashem HaTzadik, Ve'ani, ve'ami HaReshaim. Me and my people are the wicked. Now pay attention. You would say, well, Paro, this is the man. Look, he came to terms. Why is HaKadosh Baruch Hu punishing him? Because you're buffoons, you don't understand what he's saying. Look what he's saying. Hashem HaTzadik, ve'ani, ve'ami HaReshaim. Again, are you paying attention to what I'm saying to you? Hashem. What's the letter? Starts with Hashem. Hey, right? HaTzadik, hey, right? HaTzadik. Ve'ani ve'ami HaReshaim. The rabbi from Mostropeli says something amazing. He says, guys, be careful. Be careful, don't be mistaken. He says, even though those words sounds like confession, and by the way, this is not only for Paro, because Paro exists in all of us and in all the people that we know. So don't pay attention to what he's saying. He says, because in his confession, he also put his tumah, his impurity inside. He also showed how close and opaque he is to this concealed from this concept of God. We know when Am Yisrael is in Galut, in exile, we know there is a perud, chas v'shalom, there is a separation between the name of Hashem. The Yud, the Hey, and the Vav, and the Hey. There's separation. That's why before any mitzvah that we do, L'Shem Yichud Kudsha Brichu, V'Shchinte, V'Dachilu Rachimu, V'Rachimu Dachilu, Le'achda Otiyot Yud and Hey, and Otiyot Vav and Hey, to put those two things together. Why is that? And Paro wanted, he tried so hard. Sounds like what is efforts of Paro sounds to me so much that maybe Paro could have been maybe an ex-president, or at least work in the State Department, I'll tell you that much. Or for sure in the UN. He wanted to immerse the Jews so deep, to sink them so deep in the galut of Mitzrayim, in the exile of Egypt. And therefore, by his words, he wanted to separate between the letters of Yud and Hey to the letters of Vav and Hey. That's what it says. Hashem, Yud, K, Vav, K, Hatzadik, Hey, Ve'ani, Ve'ami, HaReshaim. Now, if you pay attention, you say, without the word Ve'ani, the initials are Hashem himself. Hashem, Hatzadik, Ve'ami, HaReshaim. He didn't have to say Ani. He put himself in the middle, and then he separates that. He wanted to put a separation over there. So Paro put this there to try to create a rift. And then by putting the rift, separation of the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey, by putting the word I, Ani, I, ego, Ani, remember? We spoke about it last week, we talk about it all the time. The Galut, the name Chaz v'Shalom will be separated, Am Yisrael will pull further down in the Galut. When you are letting your Ani, yourself, the I, rule over and separates between the right and the left, between your entities that you know that exist within you, when you let those the will, come up, you're putting yourself in an exile. You're putting yourself further down in the mud of desire. So Paro was very, very difficult with that. He really wanted to do so, and how he thought it would be successful. When he separates the Yud and the Hey, he separates between the Machshava and Maaseh, right? The Machshava, the thought, it's the Yud and the Hey, and the Maaseh is considered to be the Vav. Oh, it sounds too Hasidic for you, Rebbe. And the Vav and the Hey. And by doing so, separate them and put them in the galut of the dot. They don't know anymore. There's a separation. I don't know what's good, what's bad. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. I don't know. I'm lost. They are in galut. Pay attention. This is all for us. That's why Rabotai learning is very important. You have the dot. You're able to be mechaber the chokhmah and the binah together. You don't have the dot. You lost. You're broken apart. And therefore, at the beginning of the parasha, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu repeats or says over his promise to take Bnei Yisrael out of Mitzrayim, he says to Moshe, "Ve'yeda'atem." Again, da'at. You should know. Asher lo yada. Remember last week? For those of you who didn't watch last week, go back and do a review for last week. Ve'yeda'atem. Against Paro who didn't know. And Paro who didn't know yourself is because you did not know your ways. And you should know. You should know. Ve'yeda'atem ki ani Hashem Elokechem. You should know that I am God, your God. How in the world are you supposed to know God if you don't learn? Ve'yeda'atem ki ani Hashem Elokechem. I'm God, your God, who takes you out of Mitzrayim. Out of the burden of Mitzrayim, from the burden of Mitzrayim, from your suffering in Egypt, I will take you out. Ve'yeda'atem is going to, because the knowledge will come back to you. You will be able to distinguish ben tahor letameh, between pure and impure, between kodesh and chol, between holy and unholy. You'll be able to know that. And we said Vedat, remember we said last week, V'chiyada Adam, when the man knew his wife, right? Dat is Lashon Chibur. When you know something, you connected. V'Adam yada et ishto v'tar v'telet ben v'yikare shemo Cain. He knew her, they're connected. Dat is connection. When you know you're connected. When you know, this is my wife. Well, not him, but this is my wife. I know that this is my wife. That's the only woman for me. But you don't know that. You're confused. Maybe her, maybe her, maybe her, maybe her. It doesn't make you can be married for 50 years. You still don't know. That's the knowledge. I'm able to distinguish what's mine, what's not mine. I'm able to connect machshava and maaseh, thinking and action. I don't think one thing and do another thing. I walk the walk and I talk the talk. But first you gotta walk before you talk. Because if you don't know why you're talking, you don't talk. And most of us just babble. And we don't do anything. So we know that the power of Paro is in the nefesh on each and every one of us. That little Paro exists in each and every one of us. Right? In the orif, in the neck, right there. Restricts you, chokes you. So beyond that story of Galut Mitzrayim and the exile of Egypt and then the redemption from Egypt, we're always talking about our own personal spirit, the way our neshama, spirit is moving. Paro put the word ve'ani inside of that, between Otiyot and Hashem. As I said to you before, he put ego, ga'ava. What's ga'ava? Pride. Proud of myself. Kochi ve'otzem yadi. It is me. It's my tanks. It's my aeroplanes. It's my power. It's my force. It's my might. We make parades. Victory parades. For crying out loud, why do they need to send me victory parades? Instead of that, go to the kotel, say Hallel. Maybe after 1967, instead of doing victory parades, they should have gone to Hallel. Do Hallel, 3 days of, and maybe we won't have the problems that we have today. Many are there. I don't know. And maybe it would not make a difference. But maybe it would, and we did it. We paraded tanks, and guess what happened? 67 to 73, how many years is that? 6, right? What happened? 6 years. And we get not Rampin. We had very big Rampin, 1973, Yom Kippur War, all the tanks, airplanes, everything was destroyed. But Kadosh Baruch Hu, with his great chesed, had rachamim on us. We're pogam. We're blemished. We're so big, we're so wonderful. We're strong, we're an empire. Empire is chickens, you know. Look what happened to us. What would have taken to say 3 days of Hallel, celebration? 3 days of Hallel. Take that mosque over there, take it piece by piece, ship it to Hussein in Jordan. Here, you want your mosque, take it, ruch. What would have happened? And we also, pittiness, we're fighting with the Mizbeach, we don't know. Build it, that's it, mashu, yeah, beseder. Fix it, send some Chabadniks over there, they'll fix it. They make a bit Chabad on top, me or there. Look at where we are today. There are still many Jews in Israel that they quite doubt, you know, and it's not that I'm just telling you about the theory. I hear it. Well, why do we need this stupid temple, or this hill, this mound? Give it to them and we'll have peace. Yeah, Shugaim. Why are you going to have peace? So if I will come to your house and I say, listen, you don't let me into your house, I'm going to break your bones. You can say, okay, but Chava, take my living room, take my bedroom. Why not? You know, we'll have peace. You know, take half of the house for you. That's what you're going to do. You're going to call the police. You're going to beat me up, right? For us, it's okay. That's something else, right? Look at where we went, how far we fell. That's a separation. We say one thing, we know one thing, and we do something else. There's a complete separation. That's why I'm telling you, Galut, exile, is also in Israel, and even more so in Israel. And it was a very wrong thing to bring exile to the Holy Land. Because it's holy. We can't make it unholy. We have to separate between holy and unholy. Is it the Holy Land or is it not? That's Mitzrayim. That's Egypt. Inside of us. Inside each and every one of us as well. And there is a national exile, and there is a personal exile. And it all starts with big ego, with the word I, that comes to wedge in a gap between Yud Hey and Vav Hey. You know, so when we do that, we create a separation from the source of life, Mimekor HaBrachot, from separation from the source of life to us. And the Mekubalim tells us that Paro is the biggest selfish in history, the most selfish person in history. Not only was a sadist on a foreign people, on Am Israel, but also on his own people. On his own people, he didn't care. He lo yachpat lo. Maybe is a big of a selfish and a sadist like Hitler, maybe the same thing. So when the plagues came to him, didn't apply him, he didn't care. But when he came to him, all of a sudden he's screaming, he's yelling, he's calling Moshe Rabbeinu, please Moshe, daven for me. He didn't say daven, please pray for me. He didn't speak Yiddish. He said, please pray for me. But when it didn't belong to him, or didn't affect him, or he wasn't affected, so he didn't really care, right? So you should know that the sensation of the iPhone and the I this and the I that, right, is a movement that would separate and would disturb your natural flow of things. As you could see, when you have an iPhone, right, you don't have an iWife. Because the telephone separates between you and your wife. You decided right now that that's more important than your wife. When I am more important than you, I'm not able to see the klal. I can't look at the general thing, at the need of the people. That's what Chazal tells us, "Makom she'en ish tiyeh ish." When there's no man, you'll be the man. Get up and do something. Don't think about what will happen. Just do it. Just do it and Hashem will be with you. Just do it. No, why should I do it? I'm going to get my hands dirty. I don't want to get my hands dirty. Let somebody else take care of it. I'm not going to say anything. Why should I get into a fight with him? I don't want to do this. He'll do it. Let him do it. Why should I do it? And guess what happened? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And then destruction comes on, and then we crumble from within. So when we say that, we disturb also not only the source, we also disturb the flow of the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu inside of us. Or shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not shine bright inside of us. And that's what it says, ve'ani. If you take the word ve'ani and you change the order, it's oni. Kochi ve'oni, my own might. My own might. So when you says ve'ani and me too, you always refer to your power as well in Hebrew. Gamani, me too, me, my power as well. The word me doesn't, because you by yourself are not a generator of any power. Anything that was given to you, was given to you on a loan from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Your abilities and everything to do, your koach, your power, your good qualities, everything was given you from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's what it says. If you look at the Haftarah that we read usually, even though this week we're not going to read it because it's Haftarah of Rosh Chodesh, but usually in the Haftarah that goes, we read Paro Melech Mitzrayim Ataninim Agadol. He was the great crocodile, who was hovering in his Nile, and he says, Amar li Yeori v'ani asitini, and I made it. You will usually look at the Ezekiel 29, verse Gimel, verse 3, right? Which is the greatest ga'ava, the greatest thing that he says, he wanted to prevent the light from us. He didn't make us into the vessels that can hold the light. With ani, my koach. So we should know that the neshama suffers also not only from being selfish and feeling very important, the neshama also suffers from being worried and being afraid. If you are strong and powerful, you should know that also together with it, in order to balance you out, you're going to have great fears. Great fears. Look at all those crazy leaders in the world who are extremely powerful. Look at Hitler, Rasha ben Rasha. Look at Stalin, Merusha, Keleb. Powerful men, completely paranoid. If you understand that it's not your koach, you don't have to be afraid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's doing this, not me. I'm just a vessel. So you should know, you should be aware, because you want power. You want power, you'll get your power. But you know that together with your power, you're going to have a lot of fears. אין הברכה שורה אלא בדבר הסמוי מן העין. The bracha dwells on something that is hidden. You come to the spotlights, all the garbage surfaces up. It's like you stir the pot, all the scum comes up. That's exactly what happens. But if you put everything in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you don't have to be afraid of. So you think about it. So let's just finish. I just want to finish with some beautiful, beautiful words of the Bnei Yisachar. You know the Bnei Yisachar? You know Bnei Yisachar? He tells us the essence of coming out of Mitzrayim. But he talks about our personal Mitzrayim. Pay attention, guys, it's beautiful. Our own personal Mitzrayim. When he takes the pasuk and it says "Vayadou Mitzrayim ki ani Hashem benetoti et yadi al Mitzrayim," he takes this pasuk and Mitzrayim and Egypt should know because I am God when I lean my hands over Egypt. He says, and I'm quoting, "Hanefesh hakdosha hi zot she'omeret dvarim elu." The holy soul, the holy nefesh, is the one who says those things. From now, all the evil forces around me would know that Aikar Etzli, the most important thing is my neshama. I'm concerned about my neshama. I'm not concerned about my pleasures. In other words, I need to think about it. Who would like to go, right? It's a little cold out. We're going to have a very cold day tomorrow, a blustery day. And it's not Wednesday. It's going to be Friday. It's going to be a blustery day. Who would like to be in the Caribbeans now, huh? In the Caribbeans, Aruba, Bahama, come on pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, a little pina colada in the hand, maybe mojito in the other hand, a Cubano cigar, pleasures, right? Everybody's worrying about the pleasures. Excuse me, did you worry about your neshama? Did you worry about what your neshama would see there? How are you affecting your neshama by going all these places? You want desires, right? You should know that this is poison to your neshama. You want sweet, right? You know, too much sweet is not good for you. Did you know this, by the way? You know that? It can give you diabetes. You can die from that. But you don't care because you care about the immediate gratification. You should know that from now on, your concern is not where I'm going to spend my next vacation. You did not come to this world for vacation. You came to this world to work. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you a job. And you know what your job is? Your job is to guard the soul that He gave inside of you. Are you guarding your neshama? Are you guarding your soul? Or you're rolling in the dirt like a pig? You eat, all about eating. And everything else that you do. I'm not saying that Aruba, Bahama is not a beautiful place. It's a gorgeous place. But there is a price. As great as the price as it is, would I be willing to take this as I am the keeper of the soul and I will have to give the report? You know, anybody heard about opium?
Yeah.
Opium is good, right? You take a little puff. It's all good. It's all good, tranquilo. But then, yeah, one puff. One puff will do it to you. You want to take the chances? That's what happens to us. So from now on, you should say, my only concern is for my neshama, nishmati. I need to worry about this. And not this disgrace and downgrading desires that I'm looking for. The shtuyot that we're looking for. A person needs to know, to be able to distinguish all the time, between good and bad, between what the neshama wants, the will of the neshama to be pure, or to the will of the body that wants to bring you down to the lowest places. All those urges that we have, that we become slaves of it. Whether it's food, people are willing to try things that, what? Because it's a desire, it's not curiosity, it's desire for the bizarre. And whether it's sex, and whether it's all other inferior pleasures. Let me ask you a question. Did you ever try to meditate one time in your life? One time in those miserable life, did you try to meditate? You try to simply let go and feel a spiritual happiness, a spiritual joy. Why? Why haven't you tried it? To release yourself from this jail. Why, you afraid? You're afraid that you'll have to change your life? Go ahead and do it. You're captive. You've been programmed all your life to want, to have no control. And you call it freedom. I call this slavery. Because you're not in control anymore. It's like you're driving a car at 120 miles an hour, and now out of freedom, you just roll. You do whatever you want. You can roll like a tumbler. But you know what happens at the end? You're going to crash and burn. And that's what you need to understand. And a person needs to understand that when we say I, change it from my desire. I feel like it. Don't say that. When you shouldn't say is you should say to yourself all the time, the core of my holy neshama is pure. And my job is to bring all the nidachim, nidachim, all those, like all my parts that went into exile, all my holy sparks of my holy neshama. And how do I do so? I make a brachot on my things. I see the bracha. This is my shirt. This is my spark of my neshama is in the shirt. So when I'm doing a mitzvah with the shirt, I'm bringing it back to the holy source. That's why I don't care about your shirt. It's a nice shirt, but it ain't mine. And that's the latachmod, because I know where he came from. I understand where he came from. And that is the remez, that is the hint when the soul says, Ve'yid'u. From now on, the Egyptians, in other words, Egypt refers to all the impurities of the world. Ve'yad'u. All those things, all these impurities that surrounded my neshama, would know that when I say I means HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When I say Hashem, I means Avodat Hashem. And my neshama, my soul, is a chelek Eloah Mimal, is a part of Hashem that came from above. This is who I am, not this body. And I'm going to tell you something, Rabotai. That's why we adore our bodies so much. But let me tell you this, your bodies will betray you. Your body is inferior to your neshama. You could be captives in your body, but you could be free in your mind. But if you're captive of your mind, you'll be a captive in your body as well. Your body will never be free. Don't overemphasize your body. You need to maintain your body. You need to take care of your body, but you do not worship your body. Your body is just there to hold the neshama. When I will give you a gift, let's say I give you a Tiffany box, like, what's her name, Melinka or Vinka, whatever it is, Trump. She gave him a box, right? So imagine Michelle Obama would say, "Ooh, it's a pretty box." She takes the gift, she throws it out. She's messing with the gift. So what's the matter with you, man? What's up, girl? The gift is inside. We deal with the wrapping of the gift. The body is only here to become a soul, a vessel for the neshama to hold. So we're dealing with the wrapping and we threw away the gift. This is not normal. And you call yourself smart, we call ourselves smart. We need to understand that. This story of Makot Mitzrayim is, if you take that, is a spiritual journey, a way to fix your neshama, to understand that. And when I know that, and when the neshama will be complete, and all my sparks will come back to place, then I could take a Kadosh Baruch Hu and make him a melech, my own king, forever and ever. I'll become a chariot for the Shekhinah. My body will become a vessel, a temple, a holy place. Holy enough and clean enough for the divine spirit to dwell within me, not to run away from me. And therefore, right, I would live forever. This is how you live forever. Your body will go, but neshama will live forever. So, choose to maintain your neshama. Look at the Makot of Mitzrayim. Look how you are affected from it. Look at the way and how you interpret it for your own spiritual journey. It's the most beautiful journey that you're ever going to take in your life. You're never going to take a more beautiful journey, more satisfying and meaningful journey than the spiritual journey. But don't be afraid. Just put your foot, one foot at a time. Don't be afraid. Leave the world behind. Be the master of your own destiny. Don't buy things because everybody buys it, and don't do things because everybody does them. You are on a different platform. If we are all trapped within the trap of time, within the dimension of time where we all trapped, the only way to exit it is to find a way out. And the way out is to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that is above time and place. Rabotai, do it and you'll be free. Not, you'll be just like anybody else, swallowed by the matrix. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat.